red giants. We had played this deck early on in the standard format, and it felt like it was like maybe one giant away from potentially being playable. And the most recent arena release here for Alchemy gave us one more giant that looks kind of playable. So we have a 3/4 for 3 that is Ward 1. And when it enters play, it gives every other giant and wizard you control in play and in your hand Ward 1 perpetually. So okay stat line against aggro, protects itself a little bit. So, yeah. We've got Quakebringer and Calamity and Aegar as other giants. We've got some Hermits as other early pressure. We've got good card advantage in Glimpse and Expressive Iteration. And then we've got some spot removal here as well. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this and see how it goes. Yeah, my wife and I were at the tail end of the initial rounds of vaccines in the US because we're both relatively healthy adults with no pre-existing conditions, thankfully. So we weren't eligible for the booster until like the end of last month. And then we had like tournaments and other stuff going on that we were running and that I didn't have the ability to take downtime for. Christy and I don't leave the house that much anyways, chat. Mostly the children as the disease vector, as Haley's classroom has shown. Raven form's a sorcery, right? Or am I misremembering? Yeah, Raven form's not a very good card. Yeah, I don't know that you'll ever hit Hullbreaker with that. And I think the people in chat that are like, you just try and tempo the Hullbreaker with your own bounce spells are probably right. That's probably the approach we're supposed to take. Look at our warded board, chat. Playing a little Abzan mid-range here. Got some sweet cards to start. Library Exile. That. This is a free attack into a decision. Their dojo contains fear, chat. I really hope they flip these concealing curtains here so they know that we got them. Cower in fear. Magic's a hard game, chat. Kill your wolf and draw a card. Do-da, do-da. Kill your wolf and draw a card. Oh, the do-da day. Do-do-do-do-do. Beep-do-do-do-do. Beep-beep-beep-beep-beep-beep. Beep-do-do-do-do. Huh? So this flips 7-8. Let's put them to 11. And then we have 10 power in play. Try to put them to 12. Oh, this can stack ward instances. That's interesting. I didn't think about that. I guess I get to double block one of these eyes. Or not if they attack with this one. This one I get to double block. Garcia, man. Thank you for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. It will still have ward when they get undisturbed, yeah. I'm just gonna leave up these as counter spells. Goodbye, friend. Alright, so they're playing like Abzan Fair Stuff. Rebukes and Squashes look good. They should play more card selection, chat. Wouldn't get stuck on 3 lands if they had more card selection. Narrator, they could still get stuck on 3 lands. That's true. Giving things ward does make Hullbreaker a little bit less good against us. It's a Battle of Frost matchup. Yeah, maybe. I could see that. Do we think we need our Hermits here? Not sure that we do. Kurtek and Vatost, thanks for the follows. We trim this, just go up on our interaction and slash card advantage. I like it. Let's try this. Yeah, this looks fine. Got colors of mana, got an early removal spell, got some card advantage. Gets a scry here on 1. Maybe I should have named blue with that. I have other red lands in my hand. I mean, if they are just playing a bunch of removal spells, that's good for... Yeah, I should have named blue. That's good for our handful of card advantage. Yes, the next open will be 1 week from tomorrow. We'll have signups open soon, TM. Myself and Jim Davis will be doing commentary for a bulk of the event next weekend. We'll have a special guest appearance by Cedric Phillips for a couple of rounds to join us. I think I just want the squash, right? A little Cathartic Pyre to rummage here. For the follow scrub team. Ditch Quakebringer and the mountain. God, that's greedy. I guess I'll just do this. Like the rest of the cards in my hand. Oh wait, this triggers an upkeep, right? Yeah, I should have waited on that. I think the odds of them having something like a protection spell are low there. Counter on this one turn before I needed to. I don't know, Messiah. It depends on, like, what the rest of the details in the control deck look like. Dang, we're just gonna get run down here. Double Ranger class, a tough nut to crack. The thing's just like, every threat becomes a must-answer threat, and they just have so many of them. Aegar plus Ranger class specifically seems really strong. So 29 months Rion. Makes blue and scries for us. Probably just looking for cheap interaction. Card advantage or land honestly would be fine too. Yeah, perfect. Next turn we can Expressive to get the ball rolling a little bit. Potentially have a Calamity into Quakebringer curve here. And Library Exile, play another Skyland. Alchemy's great. So I assume we lose Thundering Rebuke here. We could also take nothing, depending on the context of their hand. Really, they took Squash. Okay. With this draw, I'm gonna go ahead and do this plus Rebuke this turn, I think. You know what, chat? Let the Quakebringers hit the board. Bone Crusher Giant is not legal in Alchemy. will say that's probably the #1 worst thing about making content for this format so far. People don't seem to know what cards are legal in it. Everybody keeps thinking it's like historic. It's not historic, Chad. If it was historic, we wouldn't have needed it to begin with. Honestly, double Rimewall kind of sounds great. So I can Rimewall plus Foretell one of these this turn. And then next turn I can... I'm only going to get to draw one of these, right? Oh, but I'll loot into the other one. Okay, yeah, I think I leave these here. And then we'll go Rimewall. Oh, and I can even bolt myself to Glimpse here, but then I have to loot past those. Yeah, I'm just gonna put this in play tap. Okay, so let's throw that in the corner, put this into play tapped, and pass. Yeah, Sacred Fire is a fun card. Scary. Okay, so if I cast this, it's gonna trigger this. I probably want Squash, right? I think we just pass. Saw someone play Moonveil Regent with Omnath that fat draw 4. That's going on the list. I have bad Omnath decks written down as something to brew, and that definitely sounds like pretty peak. Squish like bug. When the next set releases, this Alchemy set rotates? No, not at all. Yeah, but then they could put this counter on something else. Alright, and then I think we Calamity Bearer into Glimpse. Everything's got double Ward 1 at this point. If I attack with these and they have like a exile for this, I'm really sad, so I think I just pass here. I think it's a double spell, so Caretaker flips back, which is good. Wait, they discarded Path of Peril? Really? They must have another sweeper, right? Okay, yeah, they just have another one. I was very confused, chat. Alright, that's our third Quakebringer in the bin. So if we can find another giant, we get to start triggering those. And library exile. See, chat, that first glimpse was just like the glimpse that keeps on glimpsing. I think we just keep picking up giants, right? Is that way we could try and get our Quakebringer triggers off? They're at 12. If we have giants in play for 2 turns, they die. Nicobolas Planeswalker, thank you for the 19 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. The Blue Devil, thanks for the follow. Any squashes am I through? 1, 2. We bought him to squash at one point there. Hand, library exile, play Aegar, squish puny angel, draw a card. Oh, I should have waited. I could have played the creature land. Okay, there's another Quakebringer. Man, when this deck gets churning, we saw a lot of cards this game. They're gonna make us sack Aegar. Sad. We know most of our deck, Chip. I don't even know if they're that far behind. They're kind of like a sweeper for being ahead, right? To be fair, too, part of the reason why our opponent is doing as well as they have is look how few lands they've drawn. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And they're through half their deck. They've only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lands in half their deck. The known library is quite funny. Henrique cannot gain them life. Quakebringer says your opponents can't gain life. It's for the follow, Faf. It's my giant vortex, chap. Gotta keep them locked out. If you're new to the channel like Faf, welcome. Thanks for dropping by today. My name's Jeff Hoagland. I stream full-time here on Twitch. We do a ton of Magic the Gathering, largely constructed. Super excited for Alchemy. We usually play a bunch of different decks every single day, or we change decks every 60 to 90 minutes or so. So you get 3 or 4 decks in most days of the week. I also have a couple of YouTube channels. The Daily Deck Digest highlights the best of the decks that we play here on stream. So if you're looking for just the best of the best as short-form edited content, be sure to check that out. I also have a general YouTube channel where basically everything I stream gets uploaded. So if you want to shift through it for yourself, see the good with the bad, that's a great source for that. Tons of content up there every day. Well, so that's the thing, though, Pierogi. This is finally a format where they never have to really let it fully settle, right? Like, when things finally start to like, okay, these are the only things you can do, they can massage the details around the edges, right? And they can buff a few things, and they can nerf a few things. Like this format is a unique potential for Magic that they've never had before. And that's not to say they have to turn the whole format on its head. Like, this obviously is a bigger change than we're going to see on average a lot of the time for the format. But, like, even just making some things stronger and some things weaker is great. Their stated goals are regular changes. So it'll be interesting to see how that lines up with what actually plays out. Yes, this format rotates the same as standard with additional cards in it. Alright, so we're looking for one of our main deck squashes here. Maybe we open on this. They both see 3 cards. Yes, the additional cards rotate as well. Hand, library, exile. Oh my god, I just played the land for my hand instead of the mountain. Talking and clicking shit. It's a pretty big mistake considering I have Cathartic Pyre to loot with down the line, or rummage with. They could be an Omnath deck. They didn't name, they named red with this, not blue. Yeah, every standard set will have a corresponding alchemy set. Correct. As is WotC's typical MO, there was zero communication about the intentions of Alchemy. It just showed up as an announcement last week with like 7 days notice. Literally. Actually, my only complaint about how the format has gone is the fact that we got 0 announcements of it. Better earlier communication would be ideal and preferred. All right, chat, I'm gonna level with you. It's been kind of a long day, and I thought I was resolving an Expressive Iteration there. I should have taken Calamity Bearer. In my head, that was going to my hand, and the Bearer was going to exile, and I was gonna cast it. I think we're probably too far gone at this point. For the people talking about potentially nefarious reasons why Wizards doesn't communicate better, the actual answer is likely very simple and unassuming, chat. They just don't want to announce stuff and then have their timeline not work out and then have to delay things. Because people don't bitch if they don't know a product that was coming got delayed. It's 100% about that. There's no malice or out to get people or scam people out of wild cards or anything of that nature. They simply don't want to announce something and then have to push it back and then hear people complain about it being pushed back. I mean, to be fair, I don't even know that it's about them being bad at communicating so much as them making a conscious choice. Like, pretty sure all of that's just a conscious choice. Did an named red, chat. I guess I can keep that, and we'll play it untapped and then glimpse into a red. No, yeah, for the record, I'm super glad they're trying stuff. I knew something like Alchemy was an eventuality for Magic, but if you would have asked me before they announced it, I would have told you I expected it to be years down the line. Not something that was happening, you know, today, basically. It is much better, Jim. For sure. Cody, thanks for the quarter of a year. The third of a year. Welcome back. Oops, that does not make red currently. You take the iteration, keep the gas flow in here. Hopefully this finds us an untapped red source so we can double spell next turn. There's blue. They're tearing us apart, chat. I mean, I don't think anything with Alchemy, like the people acting like Alchemy was pushed out quickly, like they've probably been working on this for a very long time. And they didn't communicate with anybody that on the outside that it was coming, but like something like this doesn't just happen, chat. Think of Alchemy as a standard version of Historic Nicol Bolas. It is a rotating digital only format, with the big news being that they are finally starting to rebalance cards in Magic Arena. We did not, Jezen. That actually wasn't a donation. That was something I just pulled off because it looked interesting and we had other things people donated for. This is gonna be, we're about a half hour into this one. This is gonna be our last, this is gonna be our last standard deck, or Alchemy deck of the day, and then we're gonna do a little historic with the new cards. Hey, Thantos, thanks for the 32 months. Welcome back. The party deck was fine. Yeah, we played the party deck this morning. It was okay. I think we're gonna play the red-white dragon deck. Red-white dragon blinks. Yeah, Resto's an ephemerate with Trogdor. Squish like puny bug. The communication with Pioneer on Arena is that a Pioneer remaster set is no longer something they are considering doing. Wizards of the Coast likes your money, chat. All of Magic will eventually be on Magic Arena. It is a matter of when, not if. It's gonna take them some time, but it's all coming eventually. Do you like team-based games, Jin? Honestly, as someone who personally never even got into team-based games, I'd say yeah. I think Unite is sweet. I haven't gotten into a non-card game like I've gotten into Unite since undergrad. I've enjoyed it a lot. Kill your cat, draw a card, attack you for lethal, not quite lethal. I think the micro aspect of Pokemon Unite is much more forgiving than the micro aspect of League of Legends, Jin. While there's obviously some amount of push the buttons and the proper sequencing, the macro positioning feels more important than anything else. Nah, I don't think so, Jin. Yeah, I haven't played it before Pokemon Unite. I hadn't played a team-based game since Counter-Strike Source. My friend group and I played Counter-Strike Source and ran servers during high school and undergrad. I'm gonna hold on to this Squash to kill a 5/5 next turn since these aren't lethal anyways. And if they block, I actually get to draw another card because of Aegar's text. It's on mobile and it's not on PC. It's mobile and Switch, Jin. Oh yeah, it's true. You can play on PC with BlueStacks. This is the way we draw the cards, draw the cards, draw the cards. Nah, most of my non-Magic games these days are console games, Jin. Either the Switch or the PlayStation. Cathartic Pyre actually good. I guess killing Lotus Cobra is pretty important. This extra threat. Yeah, the Unite channel on the Discord server is super active, myself included. Never didn't have it. Sometimes lucky chat. Oh hey, we're on the draw, so this can be untapped to drop a Shatterskull Smashing on here. I think I'm in for that, right? Or do I care if they have 5 mana next turn? I guess they can have a ton of mana next turn, huh? This is gonna give them 5 regardless if they have a basic. Am I supposed to kill the Lotus Cobra? I think I want to just Rimewall. Most of the things they can do for 5 for a lot of mana, I'm gonna want to find a Squash to kill. So if I play this, I can dig for Squash to play for 2 mana next turn. Gratis! Thanks for the 26 months. Welcome back. they didn't have more lands anyways, so that's great for us. Open on Iteration, looking for a squash. Wow, that's super unlucky. Library Exile. So now, do I play the Spikefield tapped, or do I play untapped Crossroads so I can glimpse here? I think I just go tap Spikefield for the value. If they have this for a turn, it's probably fine. They didn't have another land to put into play anyways. It's for the follow, Endril. Alright, so that drew them a 5-drop. The Dragon's deck is the real deal. That's super strong. Trogdor don't screw around shit. He's here to burn and eat your villages. I'm gonna start with Glimpse so I get 6 looks at the removal spell. Guess we'll take this. Good golly. Actually never lucky. We've got 4 squashes post-board, Chip. They're all squished together. So I assume they either got another Omnath or they got the 6/6, because this did draw them a 5-drop. And they got the Hollowhead Dringler. So they have infinite mana here. Really unfortunate that we spun our tires so much this game. I guess I can untapped Forsaken Crossroads because we went second. And then I can Calamity Bearer plus Squash. We can squash one and then block the others. Is these all, these will each be dealing 6? It is a very elegant design. I like it. I like it a lot. And they can use these grazers to pick basics back up. Puts me to 2. Yeah, blue stacks is safe for your user info for sure. I use it all the time. Oh, unfortunate. Rip Apart was such a brutal last card. We're like exactly dead here, huh? Just trade it off for their 6/6s, and then I'd be plus health, and then I'd have things to deploy here. Close game. The fact that, like, it took us, like, 25 cards deep to find a squash that game was really unfortunate. Squash or Thundering Rebuke, right? We had 6 copies of those, and neither of them were in, like, the top third of our deck. So we spent, like, 5 mana just tire spinning, not doing anything, and that gave them time to get ahead. Stop me if you've heard this one before, but I was really hoping to see a squash with this Expressive Iteration. Now, game 1, there is only 2 copies of squash in our deck, which is very possible that this format's been creature-based enough so far that I want to play more than that. I mean, it's not like I'd be adding more removal so much as I'd just be shuffling the mixture of sideboard and main deck cards. Like, there's a good chance this format's different enough from standard that, like, Malevolent Hermit's more of a board card. The last time I played this deck, it also had fewer giants in it. So because we had fewer giants, you needed more threat density elsewhere. Yeah, it's basically bad against exclusively Hullbreaker decks. Yeah. Just go to the postboard game where we can put in a bunch of removal. I mean, I'm not talking about, again, I'm not talking about adding more removal spells to my deck. I'm talking about having a different mixture of my 60 for game 1. So, like, there's already a lot of removal in our 75. I'm not even talking about... Honestly, if anything, looking at this deck postboard, there's a good chance we have too much removal in the 75. I'm just talking about, again, starting with more of it in the main deck. If anything, like, 64 cards already. Start here, trim down to 6 pieces of card advantage, perhaps. To give you an update on my child classroom situation, Haley's teacher that tested positive for COVID was asymptomatic, and they only caught it because they do weekly testing for the teachers there. And Haley's rapid test came back negative, so that's good. We've got that going for us at least. We've got good beats in the bad situation. I think we bottom the Bearer and probably play this as a land, holding this to potentially be a removal spell. Hey, look, that's a good one to exile. You know, honestly, I think I'd rather get rid of the Hollenbach escort than this. It does. So, it depends on how old the child is. For Haley, it's still a nose swab. For like my older two, if they're old enough to understand spitting into a tube, they can do a saliva test. But Haley does not understand you need to put X amount of saliva into a tube because she is 18 months old. Yeah. It's gonna be one of those things where, like, you know, a decade from now, explaining to children that there were adults that couldn't do the bare minimum of, like, wearing masks and getting vaccinated to protect them when they couldn't be vaccinated. It's gonna be, I can't imagine it's going to have a positive, like, I can't imagine learning about the last few years is gonna have a positive effect on children when they start realizing stuff like that. We just do this so we can hold up play with fire here. Yeah, I mean, like, sure, like, the Civil War existed, but, like, that's super far removed, right? Like, that's not something that happened to these kids personally. So you're right, there's been a lot of awful, but this is like pretty close to home awful. Thanks for the follow, Mini-Virus. Alright, hand, library, exile. Bolt this in, squash the Valkyrie, draw a card, deck for 3. Thanks for the 2 years in the read. It's been sweet so far. There's been terribly disappointing. Yeah, so like, that's also true, but you usually, and this is a pretty big asterisk, I guess, but like, usually the terrible adults you learn about that were around you growing up weren't people that, like, directly put you into harm, right? Like, you're right, there's always awful people, but it's like, well, little Timmy, Grandpa tells you he loves you every week, but Grandpa didn't do the bare minimum to try and keep you alive while there was a literal plague going on. Like, there's a stark difference between those two things, right? Yeah, it's gonna be in bright neon colors for this generation. I would like one scribe, please. Rimewall. I think we're bottoming that. I think I have enough threats, so I just like want card advantage at this point. We're looking for like iterations and glimpses or removal spells. That's awful, Bearzy. Alright, and now we don't want to double spell, because otherwise Moonrage Brute eats us alive. Think we're just chilling. Guess who's back? Back again. Silurus is back. Tell a friend. Thanks for the 33 months. Quakebringer's flavor text coming in hot here. Can I please draw a spell? Just please give me a removal spell. One of your finest Doomblades, please. Alright, this at least means the Brutal Cathar doesn't flip back immediately. We've got that going for us. What if we start pressuring with the Den of the Bugbear? I think I'm into it. Cast Tiamat again. Is that for an Alchemy Tiamat deck lure, just for clarity's sake? It's fantastic. I will love to get that. I have promised that we're going to switch to Historic after this deck today. So let me know if when you'd like to see that played. I'm going to be live basically every day for the next week. I'll be streaming over the weekend too. So I can start with Tiamat first thing tomorrow or whenever you'd prefer. First thing tomorrow's fine. Perfect. I should just play my land out. There's no reason to hold it. Oh, that's not true. I guess I have a deal. The one card that rummages. Oh, brutal Cathar flipping shit. Okay, so with Calamity Bearer and Aegar, I think I start attacking with this, right? If they chump block this, I get to draw a card because of Aegar. Now, I notably do not want to play another spell because I don't want to flip Moonrage Brute over here. I already cast Bearer for the turn, but expressive iteration means if they don't draw a banger here, we're in a good spot for next turn. Good chance of finding a removal spell for Moonrage Brute next turn. Yeah, it's super great, Jin. As someone who's an adult with a busy schedule too, one of the biggest selling points of Unite is the actual matches when you're playing are never more than 5 or 10 minutes. So it's very easy to sit down and be like, I'm gonna play 2 games and be done in 20 minutes, or 3 games, I have a half hour or whatever, and like get in some games that are fun and stick to a schedule. It's a big part of why. And as someone who has small kids, it's great to be able to like tell Jake or Declan, okay, you see the timer? I've got 3 minutes, and then I will get you what you need, or we can help you with something. Okay, so let's start here. Hand. Library exile. Come on. God, come on. This is completely unreasonable. Like, there's so many pieces of removal in our deck right now, chat. This is a post-board game. There's 4 squashes. Let's not compare what's currently happening on your television to a hate crime. That's not cool. It is incredibly unlucky, but... Huh. I've actually had zero I've actually had 0 squashes this game too, right? Juki, thank you for the tier 3 and the 28 months. Welcome back. Oh, is there one in exile? Oh, we did see a squash. There's one in exile. Good shout, good shout. Bone Crusher would be very good on this board. I think they're debating attacking with their 6/6 here. If they do, I'm double blocking. Look at all of these friends underneath this Cathar, chat. Alright, I'm scrying one. I can't afford to miss here. Yeah, the Quakebringer stuffs are— Holy God, chat! What did I do? What did I do, chat? Who did I anger? Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. All right, so let's say I attack like this. They attack with everything. I go block, block. I take 4. All right, I'm gonna attack for 18 because I have a Calamity Bearer. Everything they chump block is a card draw. Up to date and take note. Thanks for the follows. No life for you. Alright, I'm glad we're winning this game at least. Till they top deck a removal spell here. Chad, I might lose my mind if they top deck a good spell. They're not allowed to top deck a good spell. We've had so many lands in a row. Just please concede. Please, please concede. All right, we take those. They're super far behind, chat. This card stopping life gain has been huge here. All right, they're dead on board then, right? This puts them to 9. It's a double-double, chat. Whew. All right, sometimes lucky, question mark. What's going on, Birds Babe? Yeah, today, tomorrow, and Sunday will be all Magic the Gathering. We're going to be doing some more variety stuff starting on Monday. I think we're going to start the Ruined King at the end of the stream. Well, this weekend, yesterday and this weekend are Alchemy days. New card days. All right, I'm going to shuffle the main deck a little bit. I think the way... The next open is a week from tomorrow. Okay, I'm gonna put these Hermits in the board. And I'm gonna put 2 Fading Hopes and the other 2 Squashes, man. Let's do that. Because this is like an interactive card for creature decks that can like also save our stuff against control. Am I taking any days off next week? Only if the COVID booster kicks me in the ass. I'm going to tentatively just put a full week on my schedule. But I'm going to try and get that Monday if I can get an appointment. So I wouldn't be surprised if I end up like Tuesday or Wednesday off. Was this thing teased earlier? The number popping up ARG thing, Ultra Reality game thing is going to be this weekend. And I can share more about it tomorrow. I'm only allowed to share the little teaser video things today and yesterday. So a little bit of tomorrow. The weekend streams will be some of that too, but mostly Magic. I'm gonna use this as a lane in the dark. And then pretty decent curve here. With the 4 tell on 2, I'll get to go turn 3, turn 4. Yeah, we're gonna stay with Team Pfizer. One of the nice things about Quakebringer here is even though we're playing it foretold for 4 mana, it is still CMC 5, so another Skyclave Apparition cannot exile it, which is great. Thanks for the 5 months, Echoplex. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, much like the initial vaccines, the range of what people have experienced with the booster seems to be quite wide. Some people saying little to nothing, some people saying it knocked him over. What are spells? Baby, don't hurt me. Super, just as punished as we could possibly have been for playing Spikefield Hazard as a land on 1. See, chat, don't choose to be conservative. It's never the right play. I saw your message. What's up? Yeah, that's fine. Maybe I'm supposed to squash the Skyclave Apparition proactively there, but we're not drawing any other spells anyways, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Getting to squash this inside of combat as a surprise has a lot of value. They can choose red for this, and then this token gets to trade here, which works out okay for us. Any of our pieces of card advantage are our best draws here, obviously. Followed closely by more removal spells. Like, this whole game could be decided by the fact that I chose to play this on 1 as a land instead of holding it as a spell. They have a third card to exile my Quakebringer from my bin. Weird sequencing. Okay. So X is 5 on this. And then worth noting here, the Faceless Haven nerf really kind of showing its teeth here. This is unable to attack into here. Do I just try and kill them here? I think I just try and kill them here, right? Yeah, so this was their drafted card. Okay, and now we pass, and we just have to untap with the giant, right? And then the Quakebringer trigger kills them. That's kind of a sweet game. Shame. Thanks for the 33 months. Welcome back. I appreciate the support. I don't even know that this card is good. Like against Dahlias and possibly Redains, it seems so awkward. Is it worth attacking with a den to take them off a creature? I mean, that's the same as having the den to block, right? So, this trigger only happens if you already have a giant during your upkeep. So you can't have this in your bin, activate this during your upkeep, and get the damage. This trigger just doesn't even go on the stack if you don't have a giant to begin with. I think this card's not great. Getting Skycleave Apparition after investing 4 mana into this seems atrocious. And then I don't think we do want battle. They can make their things. I don't think I want this card in my sideboard. I think this card's actually just bad. It gets clunky and slow. Cut down to 27 lands on the draw. Batella, thanks for the 15 months. Welcome back. Appreciate the support. Would Cinderclads be better? Maybe? I don't know. I kind of think just like playing a bunch of spot removal is probably fine, right? We're so dead. Okay, no one drop is good for our hero, chat. This Thalia they're about to play on the second turn is gonna be brutal, though. Ow! 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 I would not have kept the hand we kept on 7 cards. On 6 cards, I feel like it was better than mulliganing. Skycleave Apparition, exile your freezing flame. Holy crap, chat, they don't have it. Hashtag sometimes lucky. Okay. Okay. Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, lizard on a chair. Take my hand. We'll make it, I swear. Do do. Do 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 do. Do do do. Tripping shock spells. Oh, and it draws another card when it trades, chat. Why are you so good, Freezing Flame? Why are you so good? That card's pretty good against us. I do not have Prismari Command in my deck. We are just gonna have to play through this. Yeah, I'm on Cathartic Pyre instead of a Brid. Which may or may not be correct. Yeah, this deck felt really close last season. Getting another playable giant was a really big game for sure. Alright, my body is ready to miss on an untapped land. Sick. I have resolved more than one Glimpses iteration today, or tried to at least. You're not alone. The ward does stack on the Rime Protectors. You get multiple instances of Ward 1. Great. No whammy. Yeah, I don't think Prismari Command's text box is very good in this format at the moment. Like, I get that you're currently looking at Vicarian Shield, and that's all you can think about. But dealing 2 isn't great in terms of being a removal spell, and Azeka's Chariot's not really a card that's sealing play. Or seeing play. Oh, it can trade, sure. It's getting bigger. I think I want to just get Rime Protector into Aegar downs. That way we can start cantripping these if they trade in combat. Hey, Arnie, thanks for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. It's good to see you going to be working with S tier. They're good people. They do excellent work. Yeah, sick. That was our match for Mythic too, right? Nice. That's fantastic. Mythic Gamers chat. Blue, red giants, Mythic Gamers. Giants confirmed to be a big deal. Yep. Yep. This deck was kind of sweet. We did hit it kind of early. We've had a good run yesterday and today. A lot of W's. This felt relatively trim. Like I said, the last season when we played this deck felt like we only had Aegar, Quake, and Calamity, and even this one we're not playing 4 of. The deck felt so close to being reasonable that getting one more new giant feels like it was a really big deal. Getting to play a bunch of card advantage feels good. Like, you get 8 good 2-mana pieces of card advantage, and then squash is good too. Like, getting to play a 2-mana deal 6 is super strong. Like, a lot of people, ourselves included, are playing like Thundering Rebukes past that, so yeah. So I am planning to shift gears to historic crunch